Evan,
Nathan, we're back.
we're back. It's another episode number 147. My cup of tea. We're back. And it's been a hell of a week, frankly, for the record. Now, Evan, I told you about this old Fantastic Four video of ours
Oh
has been
yeah, that's crazy talk.
it, it's been gaining traction. Evan, now in my 9 years of doing YouTube, I no shit have about 1,200 videos on this channel.
1,200.
Yeah.
Wow, I didn't know it was that high.
It's that high, and this video just cracked the 8th all-time viewed right now.
Damn, that's crazy. That's awesome. And
It's
it's a video that I didn't even know was going to be uploaded. I was just
right,
reacting to the craziness of Fantastic.
yeah, just the ending, mind you, just the say that again, and
What a great
the
moment.
comment section has become a hive mind of different interpretations of that type of meme. You know, ranging from like what should we call our team? I don't know, man. I'm too busy thinking about my ex, man. Say that again. Like that, or what are we? Some kind of Suicide Squad type tone?
Man, that was also very bad too. What do we Suicide Squad? Yeah, I mean that's just crazy. If only 1/6 of the people watching that video watch this podcast, that would be amazing.
Right. If you are though, thank you for supporting. It's a hilarious time. We love to have fun with these different projects, especially Marvel, which we're going to be talking in abundance today.
Exactly. Yeah, we love it when people, watch our videos, watch our streams, like and subscribe. That's important.
Ring the
That's
bell.
very good too. But yeah, episode 147, we're still kicking. We're in March of 2025. Nathan, it's crazy. February, Black History Month, gone like the wind. Crazy.
A little messed up. That's the shortest month.
Yeah. Yeah, it definitely is messed up. But yeah, now it's Women's History Month, so there we go. I don't know where I was going with that, but that's it. So yeah, we got episodes to talk about. Daredevil Born Again. Was it last week that we talked about Spider-Man, by the way? Was there no gap?
Yeah, you're right. Last week was Spider-Man.
I guess there was a gap in the airing. Last week there was no Spider-Man episode, but we talked about it last week because it was a week after the episode. So yeah, it's just interesting how, like, as a consumer on Disney Plus, there's always a consistent, and I've talked about this before, but a consistent schedule for Disney Plus to keep people subscribed on the channel despite the price hikes. Daredevil Born Again is airing up until April 13th. And you're like, okay, cool. No more Disney Plus. I hate you guys. Oh, wait, shit. 1 week after that, it's Andor. Or maybe 2 weeks after that, it's Andor. So then after Andor airs, like, what's next? Like, 2025 is stacked for Marvel. We got, like, Ironheart's coming out this year. And some other shows that I'm blanking. But I remember, wasn't 2025 the year that, like, there was going to be consistent Marvel stuff? That was this year, right?
At the very least, like the first half of the year is movies.
Yeah. So it's going to be interesting. I'm blanking on, like, with the summer show. I think the summer show is going to be Ironheart.
I think we had a look at Eyes of Wakanda, the animated series.
That's coming out this year as well. Yeah. I forget what the fall show is. Doesn't matter. Anyways, so yeah. Also, we're coming off the weekend of Nora winning Best Picture. That was amazing. I love that for me. My second favorite movie of the year. It's like three years in a row, starting with Everything Everywhere, Oppenheimer, now this, with the Nora. Like, one of my top 5, top 10 movies of the year. I think Everything Everywhere was like my number 7 of the year, but 2022 was a stacked year. So, anyways, like my top 10 of the year, making it into Best Picture, where my favorite of the nominees ends up winning Best Picture. I just love that so much. Like, Parasite had that. Then we had Nomadland. So I'm like, I wasn't the biggest fan of Nomadland, but I think it was better than most of the nominees. So yeah, I'm thrilled for Nora. 5 wins for Sean Baker, or 4 wins for Sean Baker. 5 wins in total. Mikey Madison had me screaming. It was amazing. So yeah, that was that. But let's get started with let's just start with Daredevil, I guess. It's fresh in our minds.
Sure.
He's back. We're back in Hell's Kitchen. The
Born
kitchen
again?
from hell. We're born again. Yeah, exactly. Nathan, overall thoughts on the premiere episodes of Born Again? Were you rejuvenated after 7 years of Daredevil? Did it feel like 7 years to you?
Well, no, because I was late to season 3, actually.
Fair enough.
As I am with so many shows.
Yes.
But
you were busy
no,
watching Luther.
I don't watch Luther. I want to check out Luther, but Lucifer, you mean?
Lucifer, same thing.
Hey, the goated Coleman Domingo guest star, great episode. My one hook I have for you. Yeah, no, I'm happy, Bob. I'm happy. I was feeling like not trepidation, but like the build of excitement as we got to the 9 p.m. slot. I was like, oh, it's here, it's coming. It's time to lock in. We're about to do it, and I am really impressed with how the first episode opens, just like the different viewpoints of New York City and just, our trio just existing as they always have. Like nothing's changed.
Well, things are going to change very quickly. For this trip. I'm
a false sense of security to lull you in.
I'm still shocked at what they did. People were talking about it on Twitter. I'm like, was there something I don't know? I don't know how people figured it out. But
I think it was
just it's ballsy.
It wasn't a collective like spoiler plot thing. It was just like a collective of wording about like how Matt's going to be deeply affected by an event that's going to drive him over the edge, and like talking about that in interviews of just like, people who also got screened and stuff were like, are you afraid of any backlash with the opening of this and stuff? And people weren't able to infer like, oh shit, he's out.
No, because we knew Karen was going to be safe. Karen wasn't even an option in our minds.
It's funny because Karen was, I think, notoriously dies in the Born Again arc, which they adapted that scene in season 3, but they subverted it where Matt was the one that was severely injured and being held in the church by Karen. It was reversed.
Yeah, which I thought was a smarter move.
Yeah.
The Born Again arc in the comics is like ballsy for like the 80s and 90s of it all, but I still don't really love it. The whole Karen drug addict, I'm like, not great for me, Bob.
Karen is such a great developed character within the series here.
Oh, Karen is 1,000 times better in the show than she is in the comics, which is rare. Usually a comic character is better in the comics than in shows or movie. Draven, what's up, man? Didn't dislike the 2 episodes, but I'm not won over yet. I rewatched the Netflix series a little while ago, so I might have had my expectations too high. My brother is rewatching the series as well. I think he and his girlfriend are on season 2, towards the end of season 2. Yeah, season 1 for me is like one of the most perfect seasons of television for Daredevil. Like, I remember, like, it's weird. Like, it's a pretty down-to-earth, genuine drama with some great action, Daredevil season 1. And it's oddly enough like one of the most rewatched seasons I've ever watched, like Netflix or not. Like, I just casually rewatched Daredevil season 1. It just has a special place in my heart. I'll never forget watching that show. I'm not even the biggest Daredevil fan, but that show made me a big Daredevil fan. And season 1 is just so special to me. I still hold it above season 3, even though season 3 I think has like might have some higher highs, but like season 1 as a whole is just. I mean, it has Wesley. So, does any other season have Wesley, guys? I don't think so. So there's that. But yeah, my thoughts. I liked it as well. Very, very solid. Very, very enjoyable. Has that Disney Plus ism to it, but it's still like typically gnarly Daredevil, at least in the first half, and then the first bit, then the last bit are the only really gnarly bits with the action. And what I most liked about it was like setting up the dual character arcs for Fisk and Matt here. We're getting our co-protagonist arc. I love that in a lot of my fiction. Seeing how they intersect and seeing how they weave together is going to be fascinating to track on this podcast from week to week. And we got a lot of new supporting characters, which reading the reviews, I heard mixed thoughts on people's opinions on these supporting characters. But just from the first two episodes, I liked them for the most part. I think the two most intriguing of the supporting characters, for me at least, are Daniel, I think is his name, the hotshot young kid who works for Fisk. Yeah. Very hilarious, unintentionally, maybe intentionally so. I'm getting a big Sopranos vibe from him. I think he was on like one of the Sopranos movies or something.
Yeah, he played the young Tony Soprano in the
There we go.
Many Saints of Newark.
Yeah, which I thought the movie was okay. I got a free screening for that, so I was happy for that. Nice. I remember when that came out. Anyways, little humble brag. I haven't got a free screening for jack shit in like months. I'm like, I missed that shit.
I haven't got a free screening.
Yes, you have. You've been to a free screening before. You've never been to a free screening before. Nathan, all you gotta do is subscribe to like the WB newsletter or whatever it is. Like,
no, okay, well, okay. So, no, I did go to a free screening of what was that King Arthur movie that came out?
Legend of the Sword bullshit.
Yeah.
The one with Charlie Hunnam.
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, I never saw that. Yeah, it sounds like a good free movie to go to. Though I remember like 2017. 2017, I went to a lot. Like I got to Wonder Woman a week or two early. Spider-Man. Because I remember Spider-Man Homecoming. I tweeted out my reaction and I got like 400 or 500 likes. I'm like, oh my gosh, people are paying attention to me. That was fine. I remember I got Tarzan. Was a good one. Civil War was like my favorite one because Civil War, I told all my friends. I went to the bathroom in the middle of history class in college, and I'm like, "Yo, Julian, go on to the screening. I got to stick. It's like, hurry up, go." It was very funny.
That's amazing.
It was very hectic. Then I had to go back to my ancient Japanese history class and just be like, "Hey, I'm back." It was like 10 minutes in the bathroom because it didn't have the best Wi-Fi. Anyways, back to Daredevil. Yeah, so I liked that even though leading up to this show, they talked a lot about like the action. It's brutal, it's dark, it's gnarly, whatever. The first episodes are not that, besides like the first set piece and then the last set piece. Sure. I like setting up the livelihoods of what Matt is going through. And again, I like the supporting characters. I mentioned Daniel, but also I like Cherry, the detective. It gives a nice what's it called? Batman and Gordon dynamic to it all.
It does. It does.
That I didn't really expect going into season 2 or season 1 of Born Again. I am disappointed. Some disappointments. The action, while great in the first bit, people keep sharing the last bit for me. The last one, the one in the kitchen, the apartment scene, it's just a bit too cutty for me. Like I liked it while it was happening because I'm like, oh shit, Matt is like he been waiting a year to go off on people. And that was very funny. It's brutal. I like that shit, but like it also is just like cut, and I couldn't tell. Like, I'm like, okay, but part of me also, Nathan, I think people might be overhyping the action from the Netflix series a bit too much as well. Because I'm like, we remember the hallway scene, we remember the jail scene, we remember Born Again or season 3, certain scenes from there, another jail scene. But the action was solid. It wasn't amazing in the Netflix series. I wasn't like, I'm not over. You don't see people sharing a lot of the Daredevil scenes from Netflix outside of like a couple.
Yeah, a lot of people were criticizing the lack of point contact in the punches for this first fight, even before the episode dropped. And then a lot of people were like, "This is very common in the full series." Even like the very big season 3, I beat you Fisk fight at the end. It's like he's like, but like
that's so goofy.
It's barely contacting. But the weight of the performance is what's driving you. It's not really the action itself.
Exactly. So I think people might be over hyping or filling their minds with nostalgia so far. I didn't mind the CGI from the first fight. I didn't actually mind that.
Yeah, I don't think the CGI is bad whatsoever. I think it's just a matter of like the it feels a little less weighty, with the movements. Granted, I do like that they've gone a bit more comic booky acrobatic Daredevil for this interpretation for Matt moving forward. I think that's cool. I think him being able to swing around is very visually pleasing. It's just some shots where he is landing and some of the added digital camera shake is like that's not linking as well as it probably intended.
Yeah, I think it's weird. I think they wanted to feel weighty. Like there's some
Sure.
moments when he's like out of breath, and I'm just like, the fight just started, man. You're out of breath. Like for me,
that's how hard they're going. I don't mind.
For me,
he had like 7 knives in him.
That is true. It felt like they wanted to get that like intensity from like the iconic Netflix fights, where it's just like, oh shit. But this one I didn't really feel that. But I also like he's going through a lot, so I didn't really mind it. It's just a small criticism. But yeah, I think the CGI I didn't mind, but like I'm with you on like the weightiness of the punches, the weightiness of the fight itself was just like okay. So I think it has room for growth, but we cover this podcast not to talk about fight scenes. That's whatever. Honestly, it's like it's going to be at best decent or at worst decent for me.
Yeah.
So whatever. We come to talk about character arcs and character stuff, and I just love what Matt is going through right now. It's par for the course for Matt. What a surprise! He's depressed, and it's going to take a while for him to get out of that depression. Every I don't mean to sound like anti-depression, but it's just like Matt is constantly going through this. It's par for the course, but I also like diving into it because it despite it not being unique, what is unique is like his reasons and the circumstances and the people that he's close to that are helping him. In season 3, he was pretty alone. Wasn't it like his mother helping him? Am I wrong? Or like his pseudo mother?
No, I think it was his mother. He didn't know it first though.
Yeah, okay. And I really liked that dynamic. That was really sweet.
He was also really fun because he was also being haunted by manifestation of his father and Fisk to go over the edge and lose himself.
So that was really special. In season 1, it was season 1 and 2, he has like Foggy and Karen helping them out, but it was like a growing relationship for both of them.
Stick was there as well in the beginning.
Stick as well. So this season, we're getting again these new supporting characters. I like Kirsten or Kirsten.
Yes. The law firm partner, right?
Yeah, I don't know if it's Kirsten or Kirsten. I know I have a friend called Kirsten. I also have a friend called Kirsten. I'm just like, I don't know. I don't know what the Netflix or what the TV show is telling me.
Guns?
Yeah, exactly. She's a guest star on the show. Shared universe. But yeah, madness. I also like seeing her around. Me in general, like, what the fuck is she from? She is so familiar. She is what's it called? Mark's girlfriend on Severance season 1. Mark, played by Adam Scott, fumbles the girlfriend. But yeah, she's from Severance, at least from what I know. Also, his girlfriend, Matt's girlfriend, at least from the first 2 episodes here, that he meets the therapist lady. She's from The Acolyte. That apparently. I don't know what I just saw her credits as like The Acolyte. I'm like, what the fuck? I think racking my brain around it. I think she was like the mother, the evil mother, Coral. I forget her name. Or like the evil mother. I think that might be her. Maybe.
Really? Wow.
Or maybe not. I'm not sure. I know she's from The Acolyte.
But her character here, I like her a lot. I think she's
quite fun, solid. Not as interesting as like again Cherry to me or Daniel, but like she's solid. Matt always getting the ladies. He has like the best riz in the entire Marvel universe.
He is literally the horniest motherfucker in Marvel Comics. Yeah, man, he gets around quite a bit. I also like we're still talking about the show, but Evan, it's insane to me how I log on and people say like, oh god, it's just not living up to what I'm looking for from the past show, and I'm like, motherfucker, it's been 2 episodes. Please stop.
I think people like Daredevil season 1. I think all of the Daredevil season 1, 2, and 3 had very strong premiere episodes. People forget like the Netflix shows stumbled. Like I think mostly outside of Daredevil, but like season 2 in the middle was a little bit messy for me. Even though I hate the Elektra stuff. I really like the Elektra stuff. I think it's like close to on par with the Punisher stuff. I don't know if that's a hot take.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe I'm just in love with Elodie Young. She's great.
She's great.
Hopefully she's back in season 2. But I don't mind it. But like, yeah, it's like the premiere episodes are strong there, but it's usually like the middle half of the season that get like, decent episodes. So I think, it might be different this time where we get solid, very good premiere, but then it gets progressively better. I've heard that from people I trust online that say like episodes 8, 9, and 10 are really, really like fantastic. So like I think it's going to be a case of like maybe Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man, Nathan. Like when we were talking about it, we're like, this show is just getting better and better. So I think this show is just people have to get used to it. We're still in our nostalgia glasses over the amazing Netflix series. I think people just have to get used to the vibe, the tone, the look of this show. It doesn't look as good as the Netflix shows, but I don't care. It looks decent to me. It doesn't look as colorful, unique. We talked about that when we saw the first trailers. People knew that going in. So the cinematography isn't as great, but like, again,
it's still got some cool stuff though. Like when Matt and Dex are fighting in the bar, and like the fog's taking over the atmosphere, and then like the lights go out and the color tone shifts. Stuff like that is really cool. I think a lot of like the lighting work is pretty cool. It's not as like high contrast, but whatever like Matt is taking out any visual sight for Bullseye so that he can get the advantage is always very compelling to watch.
Yeah, Matt turning off the lights and Bullseye. And Bullseye was just crazy. He really came on the scene just like, I'm just gonna kill everybody. Like, wow, we're doing this. Wow.
Yeah, well, if you remember, Dex is a psycho.
Psycho. And I always like that his powers were just never explained. That's how you do that. That's how you do it. You don't need to explain it. He's just very good. He's just weirdly good at like doing that shit. There was one scene where he just like hit a ball into the wall and it ricocheted into somebody's head or something.
Yeah.
It was really funny.
It really is the most insane thing. But also, it was really cool, that shot going up the stairs where Matt's chasing Dex and he's trying to get away, but Matt throws his billy club and like it ricochets like just behind Dex against the wall. I thought it was like a fucking warning shot to scare him almost, but then like it also ricochets off to knock out the light. Different things like that. Really cool. A lot of the billy club action has been stepped up here, which I think is really fun. Again, they're going for like the full blown comic book Daredevil in this with the mix of the grounded tone. It's very fun to see.
Which is very smart. Yeah, like you have the comic book world, you have more comic booky, no more talking about the event. When talking about like the Avengers incident, the event. I'm like, this is so stupid.
Magic hammers.
Right. So all that was really good. But yeah, man, it just I was shocked. People have been waiting like Nelson, Murdoch, and Page, NMP, baby. No. But like I was just shocked that we lose Foggy so early. And that's a weird decision to me. I still don't know how I feel about it. Because in contrast to Foggy, we are getting like again, Cherry, Kirsten, his therapist lady, like we're getting a lot of these new characters, but I'm just like, I miss Karen, first of all. I heard from the reviews that she doesn't have a big presence this season, or at least not as big.
I have heard that there's a blend that like when they did like a new when they brought back the actual like original stuff from the show instead of just doing the complete like clean slate thing. I'm now hearing it's not a complete like they threw away the old show and made season 4 in a sense. It's more I'm hearing like the first couple episodes and the last couple episodes ended up getting reshot to include the old stuff, but like a lot of like the core original plan of the Daredevil show is going to be like a through line of the series we're going to be experiencing, but with some more incorporations of the canon that we previously existed in, which is cool. And then moving forward will be a full track in season 2, which by the way there's also revealed that both Karen and Foggy's actors and actress are going to be back for season 2, which they're filming right now.
Karen, not a surprise, she's going to be in it for the long haul. Foggy, flashback, or is he alive still? No, he's probably.
Right. Yeah, that was weird. Vanessa was recast at that point as well.
Vanessa was recast because of scheduling, not because they really wanted to do that. But I'm so glad she's not recast here. She is so good in this fucking role. She's amazing.
And an interesting aspect with that, with her and Fisk in this, which we'll get to in a sec.
Let's talk about that. I wanted to get your thoughts on it because I paused it when I'm watching it. I'm like, Jalen, what do you think is happening with their dynamic? What should we be inferring with this? I don't know if I'm just thinking too much about it, but like, or were you gonna say something else, by the way, about the Matt stuff, or?
Yeah, because even though we addressed the fact that Foggy does die, we didn't really like address the actual the scene of which it happens, and Matt's response. Yeah. That was
fantastic.
Every time Charlie Cox locks in on the emotion, he really is one of the best comic book performances ever.
Yeah, top 5, hands down. Top 5, perfect casting. Like, you think of Hugh Jackman, Patrick Stewart. Like Charlie Cox is in that realm. RDJ, obviously. Yeah, but like absolutely. Charlie Cox is in that realm because he's just so fucking locked in as Daredevil. It's just wow. I can't. Yeah, I have no words. He's just so good. And yeah, like you talked about it earlier, but like when he's locking into the sound, the heartbeat consistently throughout the fight, it's just like really elevating the emotions leading up to that rooftop scene where he's just yelling at him. You see the smirk on Poindexter's face, and just like the way he just drops his ass.
It's the full spectrum that even like when Matt was pushed to his very limits at the end of season 3, he would not kill Fisk. He wouldn't. He does not cross that line. And then we got this level, which arguably would be the most breaking event that Matt would experience. Mm-hmm. And with everything he's gone through at that point, yeah, he's just broken. He doesn't care. He doesn't know that Dex is going to survive this fall. He gives up. He just throws him away.
Can we talk about that? How did he survive that fall? Bullshit to the capital bullshit.
This man is unbreakable.
There's no way in the world. I wish I could fall from a 4-story building, face, stomach first, and walk out like he did.
After you were beat down.
After you were beat down to a pulp. So your body is weak. Your defenses are weak. You drop 4 stories. Face, stomach first. Like, you should be... I thought, like, okay, broken bones everywhere. Like, you're dead. How the fuck did you live?
You're the embodiment of that video. Is like, his shoes, whack. His hairstyle, whack.
Honestly, I'm pissed. I'm like, I want him to be dead.
Yeah, like, after that,
I feel like that would have been more. But even like storytelling wise, why did they just keep him alive? Just kill him off at this point, right? Yeah. Poindexter is really weird, but it's goofy. I like it.
Dex. But I wonder if he's coming back around.
Like, we've already had him. Oh, he's back alive. Oh, he's back again. It's like there's only so many times you can do this. Just kill him off at this point. Like, I get it. It's Bullseye, an iconic Daredevil villain, as close to the Green Goblin as you can get for this character. But it's just like outside of Fisk, obviously. I'm just like, just kill him off at this point and go to another new route. Turn the page on the character now. I kind of don't like that he survived, but I think storytelling wise, they wanted to ingest. Oh, cool! His spine got reinforced. He fell on his stomach side, not on his back. He fell on his stomach. You should be dead.
You should be scraping him off the pavement.
Scraping him off the pavement. When he fell in front of Karen or behind Karen, the blood from his body should have been all over her back. Like, come on! What are we doing here? Die! Die! God, I was so mad. But okay, just like, and I can't even rely on Daredevil killing him off next time. Like, I have to rely on some bullshit like Batman deaths, or Batman doesn't kill people, but like the villain doesn't take Batman's hand and falls to his death.
I don't have to save you.
Right? Like some bullshit. Ra's al Ghul, where it's just, he just blows up. Like, oh shit, didn't see that coming. It's like, somebody needs to just kill this. Or Karen can do it. Shoot his ass in the head, Karen. Please.
Oh, Karen would.
Or somebody. Come on. But okay, that was fine. What else?
I mean, so how do you feel about the choice of jumping a year from that event?
Makes sense. Makes sense.
Yeah.
But we don't need to see the in between stuff. Jump into our new. We established the new characters, and now we get to see like how Matt is currently interacting with those new characters. So fine by me. Apparently, him and Karen don't talk as much anymore. You know, they both lost a deep friend, their brother, basically. So it's hard on both of them. But I'm curious to see how Karen is recovering from it. I'm curious to see how Matt can progress out of it. But jumping to the very end of episode 2 here. So like
Episode 2?
Episode 2, Matt doesn't, or Matt thought he killed Dex, Bullseye, doesn't. The justice system, you know, delivers him 11 consecutive life sentences. But at the end of the episode, doesn't Daredevil kill one of the guys in there? Like, so what does that have to say about this season?
I don't know, because you know they're loose with action consequence. You know,
like some guy's neck is broken, and Matt just like slams his neck on the ground. That guy is dead.
He slammed him like 5 times into that fridge, bloody, and then threw him on his neck. And I was like, that looked. And you know, Matt is. I think Matt got some super strength along the way somehow, because he also just like, in one first move, he didn't just like broke bone, but like he broke it open to blood.
Yeah, that was insane. So that guy is fine. Like his arm's gone, but the other guy is like, okay, you should be dead. So I'm curious. I'm jumping ahead just to say that, like, for Matt's overall arc this season, is he going to be grappling with this no kill rule, or is it just full on? I'm done. Fuck it. I don't know anymore.
I think he will be, and I think that's something Fisk is teasing him about along the way. Or no, sorry, that's a point of contention that was in the trailer between Matt and Frank when they end up getting friends. Like I think even in the most like recent final trailer, like a couple days ago, Frank was talking to him. It's just like, I feel like you're looking for permission to like go over the edge. Different themes there, you know, because it was always like from the jump, like Matt's was always against how brutal Frank is, you know, the idea of like redemption and bettering oneself. But you know, Matt is so far might be becoming quite far gone by this point.
Yeah, it's interesting. Matt's becoming progressively more far gone. They're not dead, right, Draven? Like, damn, Matt. Like, it's so interesting. Like, I don't know what I'm supposed to glean from this. I'm having a hard time.
He better hope he gave them amnesia.
Like, in terms of storytelling, Matt quits being Daredevil. In the first 2 episodes, he stops being Daredevil for a year. Hell's Kitchen, even outside of Hell's Kitchen, New York City is becoming a hodgepodge of like chaos and messiness, becoming the perfect melting pot for Fisk to elevate himself and become a mayor. It's weird, by the way. They keep saying like in Daredevil's absence, or Daredevil's been gone for a year, but Fisk keeps on saying, everybody keeps saying like the rise of vigilantes. I'm like, White Tiger, is that it? Like Spider-Man, I guess.
Spider-Man, Kate Bishop, Matt.
Okay, is Kate Bishop even doing shit?
Yes.
That's bullshit. Oh, speaking of Kate Bishop, speaking of like Disney Plus in general, I was arguing with Jalen. I don't know how to feel about this, guys. Like, should we? I didn't like Echo that much. Echo for me was like fine, but let me cook here. The whole origin of Fisk's arc this season, is it predicated on fucking Echo? Like,
I think it is.
Because it's so weird to me. Why are they doing it? It reminded me of Captain America Brave New World. Like, why is your origin Incredible Hulk? Like why are we starting? Why are we basing our stuff on Incredible Hulk when nobody gives a shit about Incredible Hulk anymore in 2025? And for this series, like, why are we so bent on Echo, like scarring him, being the impetus for his separation with his wife? I'm like, but my argument though is that like, if you didn't watch Echo, which 90% of people watching this show did not watch Echo, you can easily insert Fisk's hospital injury, whatever, with what Matt did to him in the season 3, honestly. Like
you
Matt
could
beat the fuck out of him in season 3, and he had to recover. But like, I'm just having a hard time comprehending Fisk's arc from a guy who got humiliated in season 3, snap bullshit, whatever. He comes back in Hawkeye as some kind of like Hawaiian gangster weird. And then in Echo, he's just behind the scenes manipulating Echo. And then here it's just like he's back down to Netflix Daredevil. I'm like, it's just like, what am I supposed to glean from this up and down arc from Fisk? Can you help me understand this?
Yeah, well, granted, I still haven't checked out Echo, but in the full spectrum, all right, man. But in the full spectrum of the points that were brought up, I think really you don't even need the specific point of Echo. Fisk did bring up in the diner that he tried to mentor somebody, Maya, but it didn't go according to plan, obviously.
She shot in the eye.
Yeah, and then Matt says as much, which like that happens at the very end of Hawkeye, which like Fisk really only appears in one episode of Hawkeye anyway. So if you wanted to just like use that one example detour, you can. And just explaining that like Fisk went through getting shot in the face and the recovery process, like that alone works for me. That's fine if you don't want to go like full blown like I was functioning off of fighting Hawkeye for the Avengers. You don't have to do all that, but
no,
I feel like it's they've made it cut and dry enough that you don't need to have experienced it. But if you did and you're in the know, it's like, oh yeah, right, I was there.
That's true, but like it all feels so, I don't know, messy, disjointed. Like when they brought Fisk back, everything just feels disjointed for me. And as a person who really likes tracking arcs and journeys and trying to make sense of it all, I'm just like trying to make sense of Fisk is like, I like where Fisk is going, but a lot of episode 1 and 2 was about like what he went through in terms of like, especially with his relationship with his wife. Like his wife was in charge of the Empire. Was that happening after he got shot? Because he seemed to have a lot of control even after he got shot. Like in Echo, again, people didn't watch Echo, but in Echo, he was still like moving things. He was still like controlling things. At the very, very end of Echo does some weird like magic power bullshit that has Fisk like think about his childhood or whatever. And Jalen was like, well, maybe that, because Jalen just wants to recap. Because he was like, maybe that helped Fisk like reevaluate his life and make him want to become mayor. Like for me, I'm asking these questions because at the beginning of the season, he comes back like he's been missing for a long time. Like, where were you? It just telling us like he was just recovering for a long time because of the eye shot. Is that why he was gone? But if that's the case, then why wasn't he like that in Echo? It's just, it feels so messy. But then jumping into this show, his impetus to wanting to become mayor, where do you think that originates from? Is that just him like, oh, my next plan is to become mayor? Like, why doesn't he just go back to being criminal empire?
It could. I mean, it could be he could see him being able to have more power if he doesn't have to operate in the function of the shadows and stuff. I know one of the points in this first episode was his garnering 25,000 signatures for the ability to have the candidacy at all. And so, we know in our real world that fucking elect anybody, but
it's very like on point. Like that part was not unbelievable in the slightest. Yeah,
not the slightest. And the fact that they have a lot of point of views from New Yorkers from both opinions on Fisk is very compelling, very refreshing angle to have. But yeah, I think that he's just trying to like he poses that he wants to be a better person, but he's fucking blackmailing the commissioner and everything. It's
yeah, right.
He's no better because he's threatening he's threatening a child. Like there is no better Fisk. He is still a monster. Let's be clear.
Yeah. So one of my other lingering questions was just again his relationship with Vanessa. Vanessa was on point. She was running things. She was like queen pin. But like what do you think is the cause? Like, apparently she cheated on him with some guy named Adam or whatever.
I
Like,
think amidst Fisk's absence, which I guess may have been also unannounced as
yeah.
well. I also wonder how, because at the time wasn't Vanessa like barred from re-entering the States at a point in season 3?
I thought so because she had to leave, right? Didn't they fly her off somewhere?
Yeah, that was a thing, and there was a whole like, I mean, that was like the big like Matt's punishment against Fisk was like not being able to see his wife.
Yeah, I don't.
Look, granted, it's been 7 years, but and maybe we'll get those gaps filled in. But I think also in regards to the arc of Fisk with Hawkeye and Echo versus here is like I believe during development at the time they were they were kind of like soft rebooting Daredevil lore, so it's possible they were just kind of like starting to roll out a new type of Fisk, but then they were like, fuck, we gotta backtrack because everyone's angry we're not doing season 4. So now we're gonna go back into the full canon, but we already have a foundation laid of what's happened with Fisk. So we're just gonna do our best to whittle that into the narrative, and then we're gonna just go full steam with the actual story we want to tell.
I think that's exactly right. It feels messy, and I think because like even getting shot in the eye felt so weird when that happened. I'm like, you got shot in the eye, and it acted like it just never happened. It's so
that
weird.
is a big thing. I mean, credit to them that they still keep the scar over his eye, above it.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah. So that's just my main criticism. Like the whole impetus of it all just feels very messy. But he's becoming mayor. Everything else that happens afterwards, his relationship with his wife, it's all very compelling, engaging, and interesting to me. Because yeah, like Nathan said, he's not a good guy, but he's trying his best to have people perceive him that way, even though it's not working for like 60%, 50% of the people doing that. So he has to resort to being like the person who eats a sandwich and threatens the commissioner again. I really like that shit. But yeah, so going back to his wife, I get the sense that like because like they were like, we have to keep everything clean here. You have kept everything clean in my absence. There's nothing tracing you back to anything criminal or illegal at all. But I don't think their separation is like an act to get people so he can separate himself from what she's doing. It's genuine, right? Like she genuinely feels a separation from him.
Yeah, no, that's a big thing. Is like he actually like he would be more appealing to like the full public if like he had his wife by his side, but they're at a point of contention right now, and I think it's also very, very compelling from a messy standpoint that the therapist that Matt is dating is going to be the couples therapist for Fisk and Vanessa.
Yeah, and she can't really tell Matt about that because patient therapist confidentiality. So that's never really going to come to blows, I think. Maybe it will. So that part is just very interesting because whenever we saw them in season 1, 2, and 3, Vanessa and Fisk were always so tight. They were a unit together. And now they're kind of separated. She cheated on him, and I'm very curious to see what she goes through this season. She's also very calculated and smart in her own right. So I'm very curious to track that this season as well. But yeah, I like the whole Fisk grappling with his loss of power with the commissioner, then threatening the commissioner, and shit like that. It's all very interesting. Corrupt cops is also a big theme of this season so far. That happened primarily in episode 2. We learned by the end, like they're working for, or they have Punisher logos on their wrists.
Yeah, so that's a big thing. For the record, Frank is not going to be happy about this.
Not at all, boy. I think we talked about this in the trailer as well, or like I think when Matt first sees Frank, he's like Frank is like not happy. So
no, they're fighting as per usual. But yeah, there's a big thing of people in real life as well, people misusing the themes and ideas of the Punisher to enact justice when they just kind of want to fucking be violent. And there's a great comic panel of some cops showing Frank like, hey, look, we really are into what you stand for, and like a lot of us stand for what you do. And then Frank like rips away their like support logos and shit, and is like, look, if you want a mascot support, Captain America's right there, and he'd be lucky to have you. I don't do what you do. You abide by law and order. I left that a long time ago. We're not the same person. You're not that guy, pal.
Don't test me.
Right.
Also, we didn't talk about last week, but there is going to be a Punisher special next year, I think.
Yeah, but this was
Disney
just
Plus.
announced.
John Bernthal, I think, is like executive producing it, or at least writing it. Maybe he's in the producing creative stage as well, being the main character. So that's very interesting. I'm thinking that could be either a bridge between season 1 and season 2 for Daredevil Born Again, or after season 2. I'm very curious to see where it lands. But that's very interesting, just as a connective tissue between what we're seeing now, knowing that Punisher has a deep impact on the corruption of the city, unbeknownst to him. So that's very fun to follow. Again, not going to be a full Punisher series, but it seems to be just like an MCU special, like with the Halloween shit, whatever that was called. So that's very interesting. That whole scene with the cops was very wild to me. It's like, oh, this guy is just saving people from getting mugged. But then like, oh, sorry, we're cops. Like, oh, at the 11th hour, you want to say you're cops? Like, that is some wild, corrupt bullshit. And that guy got obliterated by that train, evaporated. Like, that's just crazy.
Disintegration.
Disintegrated. And the way that Hector just turned around, I'm just like, oh shit, like that was crazy. Rest in peace to the actor, by the way. He passed away from cancer. Just last year, I think, age like 53. So very, very young. So sad, but they honored him this episode with the in memoriam at the beginning, and he's doing a great job so far as this version of White Tiger. They kept mentioning like his amulet, so I wonder if he gets increased powers with his amulet.
I believe so. I haven't had too much exposure to the character of White Tiger outside of a Spider-Man cartoon, so I'll have to see how this moves forward. But yeah, I'm very compelled by this character. It'd be unfortunate that we don't get more of him, but I really like the performance, and I really like the showcase of him being this rogue vigilante, and like the security footage of him just like it makes it feel like all the more real of like there's actually people out there being vigilantes.
It's just so fascinating seeing this avenue of like vigilante versus justice in the face of like the cops who are not really justice. So it's weird. In one storyline we have the cops the cops run by the commissioner, who knows Fisk for being like an a-hole. He's like, I didn't forget. I'm not an idiot. Like, you're a criminal empire dude. So F you. And I'm like, good on the commissioner. Good on those cops who are like leaving so Fisk can't, like get a hand on them. But on the other hand, from a backstory line, the cops are corrupt. And the cops are like, beating up Hector in jail or whatever. I keep saying Hector. I think that's his name. So it's just so that's just all very fascinating with the whole like corrupt nature in Matt's storyline, but then like this idea of like justice on Fisk's storyline. So I find that very cool and interesting.
I don't know what the cops' plans were to murder Matt by the end of that episode.
Yeah, that was weird. Like, oh, the lawyer found dead in a witness's room. Like, that's very sus, but
At first, because there was emphasis on when they were beating Matt down, like his blood falls. There was a close up of his Matt's blood falling on the floor, and I was like, this would be good for later when Matt brings up that he was assaulted too because his DNA is there. But now that Matt has severely injured these individuals and potentially exposed his not blindness, and now his DNA is at the crime scene, it's like, oh, this is troubling for Matt.
Yeah, it was troubling until they got beaten to a pulp. I don't think they're gonna be able to talk after that.
Maybe. Maybe they fucking like the full Batman meme, like, I won't kill you, but I will send you to the hospital for eternity. But
Basically,
Yeah,
that's what I'm thinking right now.
I don't know.
Otherwise, he's fucked. Yeah, otherwise he's
Yeah.
fucked. It's like, oh, they just realized, yeah, we got beat up by his lawyer, but also they can't say anything either. Why were you there in the first place? Like that's incriminating them in the first place. So they're at what's it called? Mutually assured destruction. I won't say how I beat the living shit out of you, and you don't tell them how you were like trying to beat up a witness in the first place. Like you shouldn't have been there either. Cops, you didn't have a warrant, so they can't say shit. So they're both screwed out of that. So that saves Matt on that end. So yeah. Overall, yeah. Anything else we want to talk about here? I did like the diner scene between Fisk and Matt. It's very cool. You know, very getting them both up to date. And so Matt's just like, if you go even step out of line, I will end you. No, but he does say like he's on his ass basically. That's very cool. It's just great seeing Matt, like not great because he's like depressed, obviously, but seeing more of this courtroom drama aspect that we didn't really see so much in the Netflix series. That was more of a vigilante series. This one, we're getting a bit more of the courtroom stuff, way more than like the fight. So we're seeing him talk to Cherry, like look for the witnesses, his best friend, his new partner in Kirsten, and how they're interacting and how their new practice is moving things forward and trying to fight justice, the hard cases. That's all very compelling to me. His girlfriend, his therapist, that's very interesting to follow. Overall, very strong first 2 episodes.
Yeah, totally. I'm excited to see where we move on from here. I'm excited not to detract from, the core storyline for Matt, but like I am excited for Matt's dynamic with Frank again.
That's gonna be cool. You think we're gonna get that episode 4 or 3?
I don't know, because I don't know like how much into the season they market. It's always kind of random with these Disney Plus shows, but I'm thinking probably around at least 4 or 5, no later than 5.
I'm trying to look. I think there's like 9 episodes, right, this season. So,
if I were to guess, like I think the fact that we planted the scene of the Punisher tattoo, we'll make our way closer to it in episode 3. Frank will be alluded to or straight up revealed at the very end, and then we'll get him in episode 4.
Cool. And yeah, I'm curious to see how this White Tiger stuff gets resolved because Matt's like a very, very hard case here. Like that's not a good case.
Unfortunate for him that his identity is also exposed.
Yeah, his identity is exposed. Luckily, the DA or the judge was just like really a kind of ruled it out for like evidence sake or like at least argument sake in the court case. But it is out there now. And then what was I gonna say? Oh yeah, so the witness is out in the open, so we didn't get that resolved. We have to rely on Cherry like protecting the witness, Matt looking up more stuff for the Punisher, and yeah, Fisk is still grappling with this like power that he's in. It's weird. Like he wanted to be mayor, but now he's in a state of like you can tell he's in a state of like boredom or at least like non-complacent. He's not like I've done it. He's just like I'm mayor, but shit. Now what? Like people still don't like me, and I'm dealing with all this other garbage. Like, and we know it's gonna get crazier. The main villain of the series, what's his name? Muse is gonna be rising soon. I remember that from the trailer.
Yeah, and we saw him out of costume. He's the dude at the book signing for Matt's therapist girl.
What?
Yeah, I kind of suspected it was him, but like it is like confirmed. So
that's cool. I did not know that.
Yeah, he is active painting murals. We do see one of them when Fisk is elected, but yeah, he's gonna have a connection with her as well. It seems like everybody's gonna be at this crossroad of this character, and Matt's probably gonna be like, I need to know all of this.
Interesting. So Muse, serial killer, vigilante. He's not even a vigilante. He's just a serial killer. So why was he at the therapist lady's book signing then?
I mean, he's genuinely asking for help. I think so.
Okay.
we'll see how that pays off. If there's, because with a high profile person like Fisk, there could be a thing where like you need to handle them now, and you have to neglect your other clients. That could be a spiral for Muse. We'll see.
I watched that actor. I'm like, I remember him from somewhere. Looked it up. He was the main boyfriend on Wednesday, the Jenna Ortega Addams Family show. And I'm just like, he wasn't that great on the show. Granted, the script wasn't great on that show. I didn't really like what they did for the romance, even though I love a good romance. And I think, short aside, Wednesday writer, even Jenna was like, no more romance in season 2. We're going to go full dark horror. I'm like, you can have romance. I don't mind you having romance. That wasn't the issue. It was just that it was badly written. And I think once you get badly written romance and you get fan complaints, and it's just like, okay, we don't need romance because she's going to be her own girl. I'm like,
why fix and develop when you can just scrap it?
Right? I'm just like, just fix it. Just, don't do a love triangle. Anyways, but I'm hoping he's good as Muse here. Hopefully the director, showrunner, writers do some great work for him, because I usually don't like to blame the actor for shit like that. But okay, yeah, I did not know that. That's interesting. So that's going to be fun to see what he does too. So yeah, let's dive into You want to go to Invincible or Concept?
Yeah, we do Invincible. We'll do Invincible.
Let's do Invincible real quick here. Invincible episode 6, right? I think we have 2 more episodes of Invincible. This week we get episode 7, the penultimate episode, the Invincible War storyline, as teased by the end of this episode, where we get Angstrom Levy. Yeah, I think Angstrom Levy. He watches Mark deal with the whole Powerplex incident. Aaron Paul was, his rent was due. So that was fun. But yeah, Matt dealt with that. And at the end of the episode, we saw Angstrom Levy saying like, and now it's time. So it pretty much like not confirms, but like it goes along with what I'm thinking, where they're not there to kill Mark. They're showing it as like an antagonist being like, it's time, but it's like there's like 20 Invincibles at least there. There's tons more. You don't need all of them to kill Mark. So obviously I think they're just going to recruit Mark for something. That's my idea. Or maybe they are just there to kill Mark. I don't know. It's like, why do you need 20 Invincibles? You can just send one and Mark's going to have trouble. It's like,
so you may think, but I think it is smart for villains to be like, don't fucking underestimate these people. Like, just let me cover all bases.
But like, having watched the incident, they watched how Mark handled Powerplex. Mark didn't. It wasn't like a feat of strength that he defeated Powerplex. Powerplex kind of like burnt himself out, and Matt just like took the brunt of it or whatever. Yeah. It's not like Matt like beat him up, and then Angstrom Levy is like, okay, now it's time. He's hard to deal with. They saw Matt like deal with a crazed killer, and they're just like, okay, now it's time. But it's like you can send 2 to 3 of those guys, and Matt's done, or Mark's done. So I'm just leaning on. Maybe I'm just an idiot. Maybe they are just there to kill Mark, and it's just like a 1 episode thing. Mark versus 20 Marks. What's the point of that? Like, what are we doing here?
In fairness, they've been watching Mark
do what
his existence, just living his life, and he has allies that are powerful, so they're probably compensating for any collateral from that.
That's true. I mean, yeah, maybe. We'll have to see. People keep hyping up this Invincible War moment
over in 2 episodes.
Yeah, I heard it's gonna be over in like
probably.
If it's not finished in this episode, it'll probably go into. But I think it has to be this episode that they just wrap things up for. It might just be a 1 episode event, because the finale has to be about like Nolan and Alan and the Viltrumite invasion. The whole season's been building up to a Viltrumite invasion, I thought.
I imagine, but I don't think we're gonna get the invasion.
Not anymore. Yeah. Anyways, so that's just my theory for next week. I just think that like maybe they're not on together. But I did see like a preview for this week's episode, and they look pretty mad. So I'm like, okay, maybe I'm just wrong. Maybe they're just there to kill Mark's ass. So we'll see how we handle that. That could lead to some interesting stuff with Oliver, who's all been like they've been telling Oliver not to kill anybody, but like if I'm Oliver and I see clones of Mark, I'm like, if I'm Mark, I'm just, hey, Oliver, do your shit. It doesn't matter if you kill some clones. It's fine. Anyway.
And what happened to shooting them in the legs? Our favorite go-to incapacitate.
That would be amazing. Just tap off some legs a little bit. But we'll see. We'll see. So I think Mark and Eve are going to have some fun dealing with that. But before we deal with the whole Powerplex stuff, Nathan, we come to this podcast to talk about Rex and Ray. And I'm depressed.
Is it over?
Is it over already?
Not like this. Not like this.
Not like this. Like, oh no. Like, I really like Rex and Ray so much. They have a genuine connection. She's still asking him to leave with her, but that's not it for Rex. Like, I understood both of them in this, like, not even an argument, just conversation. It's very fascinating because I think this season in general, we got a glimpse of like how these heroes grow up, how the people with powers grow up. Obviously, the main focus of that is Oliver and how he's growing up differently than like other people because he has Mark and Deborah on his side. But Rex talks about like growing up in like a government institution. He didn't even have a name. His father gave him to some government agency, and he's been trained to be a superhero for a life. Kind of dominated his identity. We saw previously in the episode before that with Kate and Duplicate and Multi-Paul. Yeah, Kate and Paul. How they grew up in some kind of like institution. And then lastly, now we have Ray, who we learned throughout the season as well, has grown up in a, through the government as well. Her parents really drilled into her this, like, they even gave her the suit and everything. They drilled into her this idea of like, you have to be a superhero, where she couldn't even escape that notion. Now that she's an adult, now that she left the Guardian, she feels like she has room to walk away. And I just like that through line from multiple characters this season. And it's just heartbreaking to see Ray go through that. I mean, I love it for Ray. Sure, walk away. But also I don't like it for Rex and Ray because I'm like, man, I don't see Rex going with her, given what he's been through. I understand what he's been through now. So it's heartbreaking, man. I really loved that whole scene on the rooftop.
Yeah, it was beautiful. I need the Rex special.
Me too, because I want to see what he went through, like growing up and like being abandoned by at least his dad. I don't know about both his parents, but like abandoned by his dad and forced to grow up. Like it's brutal. We saw how unfortunate Eve's growing up was with her parents, both like wanting to shelter her, but also not trusting her, like very messy parents. They left her, but in a very complicated way. And then you have like her whole stuff with it being a science experiment, awful stuff. So these heroes are just growing up in awful predicaments. And Mark, his father is a mass murdering psychopath. At least he was. Crazy how this guy is still like on a redemption tour, which is amazing. But I like the through line as well this episode of like Oliver once again pondering the idea of like Nolan's actions, and Nolan's actions having a big spotlight this episode with like a basically 9/11 style episode where all these plaques in the middle of Chicago talking about the lives lost to Nolan, and the fact that Powerplex played brilliantly by Aaron Paul. His sister and his nephew perish. And they were the ones that Mark was saving in the building in season 1. Like, I was like, awesome, dude. I was like, oh my God.
That's great connection. That also hurt so bad.
Yeah, because I'm like, oh, wait, shit. Damn. That was not a great moment. But Mark tried his best. Like, that's the thing about this episode that was so aggravating was that, like, oh my gosh, Powerplex. Like, Mark was just trying his best. Against a psychopath. He was watched the clips of Mark getting held against his will in front of a train, and Mark carrying the house that ended up getting cut in half and shattering his sister and nephew. Like, it's so sad, but like you're misplacing your anger, my guy. it was sad and aggravating at the same time to watch.
It really is. Yeah, I'm sure on a deeper level, it's probably an instance of not having the perpetrator to blame, so this is the next best thing.
Yeah, he blames himself. There's no outlet. Nolan's gone. The first person that he can think to blame is Invincible, who, again, isn't the perfect hero as we've seen this season. He's made some mistakes, and Powerplex is really elevating and putting into a spotlight those mistakes from Mark. And I like that, where he's just like, so Mark, nothing happens to Invincible. There's no justice for the people that like Invincible killed or injured or whatever. And they're just like, honestly, sorry, no, there isn't anything we can do, because at the end of the day, he is still on our side. So why would we put him in jail if he's still on our side? But so that was just something that was difficult for Powerplex to really grapple with. Like you said, he's just looking for an outlet for his anger. And unfortunately for Mark, it's Mark. While Mark is dealing with the deaths of millions and really struggling with how to be a hero, I think this episode just did a great job. I really like this episode so much because it just heightens, in an emotional standpoint and a thematic standpoint, this season, which is all about how Mark is grappling with how to be a good hero amidst all the trauma that he's been through, his new relationships with Eve, and his past relationship with like the sins that he's committed, that he thinks he's committed, and that Nolan's committed. And we know Nolan's on his way back, so he's going to have to deal with it again. It's just, this show is so well written, and this episode is just the epitome of that, where everything is coming to a head, and it's just so tragic. Like, step by step, it gets more and more tragic, getting to that final few moments. So again, I liked all of that shit. One of the best moments of the episode, Powerplex, now that he has his gauntlets, wired into his skin, he needs to get Invincible to attack him. So he caused the whole riot in the middle of the highway. Eventually, only that stretchy alien guy comes. But during all that, he's like, I'm looking for Invincible. They cut to like the title credits. It's like, you guys keep blaming me, boom, title. And I keep talking about, boom, title. Like, the cuts were amazing. I fucking loved it. It was like consecutive.
So
good. Like, this guy's off his rocker. It was hilarious amidst so much like tragedy and awkwardness. And I love how people in the cars were just like, oh, like it was like an ordinary Tuesday. They're just like, oh yeah, it's like, this guy is crashing out on the highway, and we gotta wait for somebody to like wipe him up or get him away. But his power was very interesting. Like, those things are wired to his skin now; they can't remove it, as we saw at the end of the episode. And he was just like tanking a lot of those hits.
And it's not like a thing where he's fueled by any like existing energy around him. It's like manifested inward from his emotions.
Yeah. But his emotions highlight that, and then it was very interesting. But I think the whole part about this episode that I loved is Aaron Paul's performance was just so excellent that you really understood like his slow degradation towards like helplessness and anger and ruthlessness. Like, I mean, I say ruthlessness. He's really not trying to kill anybody. He's like, I didn't mean to do that. Like, oh my gosh, like,
it's good. Aaron Paul,
you're really stopping me. It's like, you can't keep getting away with this. No, but
bitch,
bitch. It was just so good. So I just really love this episode, and let's talk about it, Nathan. That finale, man.
There were multiple points, Evan, where he was losing control of his abilities around his family, and I was like, stop doing that around the baby. That's dangerous. Like, and granted, every time they did it, there was no like fucking like strikes around the child. Like, they weren't showcasing any of that. So I was like, okay, yeah, that's just like, the animators wouldn't fucking do that. Obviously, I was wrong. I was so wrong, and god damn it, I didn't expect them to have such detailed illustration of the aftermath.
Same. And what was so interesting that his wife, like, he comes back home after failing for the second time. He gets beat up. Doesn't get beat up by Eve, but like Eve kind of like successfully arrests him. The Guardians come in, they arrest him, then he leaves, whatever. But like his wife, at the end of the day, is like, we can't stop. Like his wife is with him. Like we can't stop. We really have to, because she lost her family too. Which is also a compelling thing. It's not like his wife was like, well, should we be doing this Powerplex? Like, no, she was deep in it too. Like they're both risking the life of their child. For her, I think it was her idea to be the hostage, to fake the hostage whole scenario. And I'm watching this and I'm just like, they're in a roof. I'm like, this is such a dangerous set
It's so dangerous. There are multiple points where he's insisting, oh, it's over. We gotta like there's no point in going on with like any of these risks. Like I need you two to get away and safe while they come and get me. But she, granted, she stays loyal, but the fact that she keeps pushing that level of endangerment is very concerning.
Very concerning, to say the least, man. And when Matt gets to the roof, I keep saying Matt, we're going to have a hard time talking about Invincible and Daredevil back to back on these podcasts.
2 more weeks.
Thank God. I miss Peter and Mark. That was easy to differentiate. But anyways, if I'm Mark and I go to that location and I'm a superhero and I see a hostage crisis, it's like, okay, he tries to untie her, she spits in his face. I'm like, okay, bitch, whatever, I tried. I'm kidding. But like, if I'm Mark and I successfully can't get the hostage, she spits in my face, I'm like, okay, that's annoying, but you have to get Powerplex to go away. Like, your first instinct should be like, I'm hopping to the other roof. I'm hopping somewhere else just to get this guy to maybe follow me or whatever.
Absolutely. I can totally get not wanting to jump to any other point of the city that isn't already in ruin. But, with how powerful Mark is, super speed that man to the ocean or somewhere, man. Please move him out of the town.
Especially when Mark's fighting him and you realize everything's so shaky. I'm just like watching this like, like I really don't want anything to happen here. I'm like, Mark, you got to move.
Take him to the sky, something.
Yeah, and I'm shocked. Like the wife stayed there too. I'm like, you got to leave. Like, why are you still watching the fight? Like, these are two like powerful individuals. Like, you got to get out of there. So what eventually happened again? So like they're fighting. And he eventually like incapacitates Mark and starts like overloading on Mark's head, right?
Yeah.
I think that's how like he just overloads, and that's what kills his wife and daughter.
Yeah, it doesn't, it's a big effect on Mark, but it doesn't knock him out.
Not at all. Mark's like, ouch, that fucking hurt, but damn. Man, it's so heartbreaking. This show is so good, Nathan, because it's like Mark's really trying, guys. He's really trying.
It's a big theme. So it is with Matt, but Mark here is trying to, at every turn, take the more honorable route. He's not trying to take the easy way to just murder somebody, but then every instance keeps forcing him into the hand of like, this may be your only option, but he doesn't want to be that person. But for the betterment of people, sometimes he might have to be, and that is a terrible pill to have to swallow. I'm not one to say that that's the correct thing morally, but when you're in a needs of the many situation, it's unfortunate altogether.
It's super unfortunate. And just last week when he was dealing with Machine Head and the other guy, like he had a beautiful conversation with Titan going through the whole community, and his first instinct was just to be like, nope, he still go to jail. Like he still has like these flaws, and he's still at the prison. He's still trying to save the day. It's like Mark, his season 3 arc is just so fascinating to me. Somebody who's trying his best, still making mistakes in some instances, but then even when he doesn't try to kill Powerplex, the consequences, the death of a wife and child. It's like, like if he tried a little bit harder to like really kill Powerplex, maybe that would have stopped it. Maybe if Mark went to stop Powerplex at the beginning, because he avoided him twice. He avoided him at the funeral, and then he avoided him on the highway earlier. 2 times he could have gone to him, ignored. He finally comes see him, and the wife and child die. It's just like, oh, every decision is the wrong decision. And what's so frustrating for Mark, what is going to be frustrating, is that he's going to have to deal with, well, next week, clones. But then eventually, like, the Ultramite invasion, where they keep telling him, Nolan keeps telling him, it's kill or be killed with the Viltrumites. Like, they're going to be trying to kill you. Are you just going to beat up a Viltrumite and hope to go to jail? What jail is going to keep them secure? None. So it's just like, what do you do then, Mark? What's your decision then? How can you be a hero? How can you save the world and be a good person when the Viltrumites are at your door? Luckily, we know that there's not a lot of them left anymore, so he has that on his side. But yeah, it's just it was just so sad, and to see like a burnt remains of a child, like what is this show? Like fuck,
a baby at that, man. It's painful. It's really hard to look at with the detail of it, and there's multiple shots of the remains, and it is, I mean, it's very well done to drive the point home of the mental anguish for Powerplex here.
Big time. So Powerplex does get, incapacitated, right? I think after that, what does Mark do? Mark just, I'm confused. I think, did he drop him? No, he didn't drop him. Like, he just, like, I think they just beat him up somehow or something.
I think without the threat of the hostage in the area, Mark is able to just take him down, like incapacitate.
Very quickly.
Yeah,
very quickly. But yeah, Powerplex does live. And one final conversation, Powerplex is like, oh, you think your apology means anything to me? And now that you realized about your, like, because Mark, this episode was dealing with, like, I never really sat and understood what happened. I kind of just not avoided it, but just I never really thought too much about it, and I'm sorry. He's like, oh, I don't need your sorry anymore. I still hate you. So it's like, oof, just a lingering hatred in Mark's corner there, which is just so unfortunate. But you got to move on. But I'm so happy that Mark has a great social group around him, like Eve. Eve is always there to support him. Oliver is there. Deborah's there. Yeah. So that's really good. I like the quiet scene in the beginning of this episode too, when they're going over like their struggles for the day, and going over like their superhero struggles. And Deborah's new boyfriend was like, "Oh yeah, it was hard for me with the whole realtor thing." And at the end, he was like, why am I comparing myself? Like, I just love like the whole natural this show is with this like civilian characters.
Oh, totally.
It feels so lived in.
Really does.
That's great. So another great episode of Invincible season 3. I'm really, really liking this season. If it nails the ending so far, I'll like it a bit more than season 2. Season 1, I think, might still be the best, but I don't know. Maybe that's just my nostalgia speaking. It could just be season 3 that's the best. We'll see at the end of the season how it goes. But so far, so good. So yeah, Invincible War this week. We'll see what leads to that. Again, we've been hearing big things about it. That's not long, but could be impactful. I'm curious to see how it impacts Mark's arc this season. Mark's arc. Noah's Ark. But yeah, once again, shout out to Aaron Paul for just a wonderful voice acting performance. When a voice actor hits, it's like, oh, really hit. I love that shit. I was watching this anime on Netflix called Orb on the Movements of Earth. It's a really cool like anime about like how people trying to justify the Earth is not the center of the universe. It's actually the sun, and historical drama with a lot of like intrigue and violence, and it's really good. And there's one performer that was just killing it last week, and I'm just like, oh, he's so good. He was crying over the death of somebody. I love good voice acting performances. If you like that as well, go watch Castlevania Nocturne for great voice acting, and Arcane. Haley Steinfeld bring one of the best performances you'll ever hear, and Ella Purnell as Jinx. Anyways, let's end up here with some interesting concept art What was
Yeah,
it? Saturday
so
morning, Sunday morning. What was it?
Saturday. It was Saturday. I was headed over to my day 2 Best Picture showcase, and I leapt out of bed. I was like, "Oh fuck!" Now I've collected some.
Oh, are we gonna share it on screen? Are we doing this?
I'm a risk it.
Cool, let's do it. Fuck it. Yeah,
Uh,
I was watching a YouTube video to prep for this conversation. And I'm like, oh, people are just sharing on YouTube as well. So it's like, okay, we're cool.
yeah. So, yeah, I collected some into a drive
So
compilation.
before we talk about this, Nathan, I just gotta admit, I'm on the opposite side of things. I saw this group of images. It was like what, noon or whatever, and I'm scrolling through this and I'm just like, oh, that's cool. Like for me, I don't think concept art is gonna have that big of a deal. Knowing the Russos, 90% chance none of this comes to pass. Like, can we at least say that? Can we admit that before we dive into this?
It is important. So there's a couple things. First off, I will say, I was always inherently looking forward to some form of next Avengers movie, right? Obviously. I will say, seeing this stuff did spark like, oh my god, it's coming and it's exciting. Let me see here. Yeah.
Right, it's crazy. We were just talking with Where Heartbreak Feels Good. It's like, yeah. Robert Downey Jr. is going to be filming, Oscar winner Robert Downey Jr. is going to be filming some new scenes in the MCU again in just a few months. So it's just, it's crazy. A new Avengers next year. It's wild.
Yeah. Wow. Now, it is important to note, yes, that not always is concept art the final product, but sometimes it can be. And I think I also give credit to this assortment of concept art that this is an example of like, oh, look, we got Toby and Hugh hanging out in one shot. Like, it's not anything like that of nostalgic cameo stuff. It's just like, no, it's the existing players that we have for the narrative of our main timeline in these scenarios. So I got some queued up in some batches to discuss. So I'm going to share those right now.
Awesome. Let's go through these.
Well, first and foremost, it's a bit of showcase for the Fantastic Four, which has confirmed that there's going to be some family dynamic with Franklin Richards, I believe, Reed and Sue's child.
Yeah, he's a big part of the movie. They've just been hiding him in the trailers. 90% chance, I'll let the word 90 today, but 90% chance in the next official trailer, not the teaser trailer, but the official trailer, we'll see Franklin in the trailer.
Sure. I think it also brings like a whole new meaning to the subtitle First Steps, not just, in terms of spacewalks, but, children.
Exactly. There's also a thing I saw on Twitter where people are like, the whole 7 p.m. or the whole beginning of the trailer when you have when you have Sue and Reed talking to the interviewer, Sue's hand is always on her stomach, and I'm like, people's theory is that like in that scene she is pregnant, but they're just hiding it in the trailer.
I think she's like walking like a bit more like laid back, like for like weight distribution.
Yeah, so I'm like, there's a good chance. I've watched it now because I was like, that sounds ridiculous. But then I watch the trailer every time now. I'm just like, I can't unsee it now. So I can easily see it when the movie comes out. Like, oh yeah, in that scene, while she might not look pregnant in the teaser trailer, when we see it in the movie, she's pregnant in that scene. Because again, the movie's going to be all about her and Franklin being the kid, who is, by the way, very overpowered in the comic books. Franklin Richards.
Oh,
yeah. Crazy.
But yeah, this will be intriguing. We also got a concept art look at the Silver Surfer coming, which we'll get to in a second. But yeah, there was this image as well, which I think is going to be in conjunction to them fighting the Mole Man. There's probably going to be some type of flood underneath the streets of New York City.
But whether this is concept art vision of their suits, concept art doesn't have to be official suits. But like, do you think this is from the Fantastic Four movie, or do you think it's from Doomsday?
I think this is from the movie. I think this is, it is just the core team here, and I think this is a smaller scale thing. We know that there's going to be from the sets, like there's going to be underground tunnel situations here, so I think this is going to be from it.
Well, I
And the
find it
next,
interesting that this concept art is pretty much just like their comic book looks, not Pedro, not
right,
like Elizabeth or what's her name, Vanessa Kirby.
yeah,
It's very
it's
interesting. Like, this is straight out of like Jonathan Hickman's version of the comic books characters.
yeah, totally.
But yeah, so
Uh,
this is the female Silver Surfer. What's I forget the character's name.
yeah,
But yeah. So like this is, if people forget, this is not gender swapped version of the Silver Surfer. This is a new character with a similar role as like a herald of
yeah,
Galactus, in this movie at least, played by the great Julia Garner. Hopefully, she has a better role here than she was in Wolfman.
it's all right.
I just didn't like her character. She was great, but the character.
Sure,
Um,
sure.
But anyways, so yeah, it's just, again, we didn't see her in the trailers, but high chance that she'll be in the official trailer because they got to highlight their antagonist in the movie.
Sure.
So yeah, and she might not be the antagonist. Could just, we'll
Yeah,
see.
I don't think so. I usually don't like to think that of the surfers.
Yeah,
There's a clear set of ruins here. That she is rising from, and I do wonder what that aftermath is from. What she's holding as well. I wonder if it's like. I mean, the fact that it looks cube-like does make me think of the Tesseract, which is key in the implementation of interdimensional space travel. So
but
that could be a key component, maybe.
didn't they say no more Infinity Stones in Marvel anymore?
I don't know. I didn't hear that.
I think this might be a concept art thing. I don't think we'll see, or if it is a cube, it'll be
Sure.
something completely
It
different.
may not be the Tesseract itself, but it could be of a similar functioning power source for Reed to use. I
True.
think.
It could be the power source that allows him to go to the MCU, a multiversal transportation thing.
Definitely. Moving forward a bit though. Hello.
This part is weird to me.
I like it.
Like, this is one of the scenes where I'm like, there's no chance this happens in Doomsday. White
I don't
Vision
think this
isn't
is.
even a series.
I don't think this is Doomsday. I think this could possibly be a scene in Vision Quest. I don't know to what example.
0% chance Chris Pratt's in Vision Quest. 0% chance. I'll bet my
Maybe.
life.
I don't think he's going to be like a co-star in Vision Quest, but I could see maybe like some connection set up. This could very well be the start of where we find Vision in Avengers. I don't know. Anything's possible.
Anything is possible. I'll give you that. So 1% chance.
Listen,
But like,
it's not like a thing where it's like, Star-Lord's randomly here, okay? Because he is on Earth. He's not doing anything. He's not having adventures anymore. He's just around.
Star-Lord makes sense. Hanging out with Vision, 0 chance.
Well, that's hard to say because we don't even know where Vision is. We don't know what he's up to.
Exactly. If we don't know, so a character from a show called Agatha, whatever it was, all along.
Mm-hmm.
Like, if I'm just a movie watcher, last time I saw Vision, he was dead by Thanos. Next thing I know, a random white Vision's hanging out with Chris Pratt. You can't explain that in one sentence. You can't. So it's like, what's going to happen?
I don't care. It's your fault. Watch the shit. It's there.
Watch the shit.
Watch it. I don't know.
You want people watching Doomsday to watch House of Agatha all along? What?
Sure, man.
Why?
They watched WandaVision. That was a good thing.
That
did. Was a success.
They thought they had to. That was 2021.
No, well, they did have to, Evan.
No more expecting people to watch some 8-episode slop. Stop it.
Well, it's already the situation, isn't it?
Yes, and that's why they're like lessening the amount of shows that they're doing, because it's like they realize how stupid it is to expect people to watch a TV series for a movie. You shouldn't have to do that. And I think it worked well for like Multiverse of Madness, where it's just like the Scarlet Witch show was like one of the most famous things. Like that one I understood, and it didn't really like you can easily explain it by being like, oh, she's mad about like they did a good job cementing that for the movie. But either way, it's just like we gotta stop expecting people to watch a TV series for a movie. It's like I didn't expect my dad to watch Falcon and Winter Soldier. Luckily, it's like you're not too confused watching this Captain America movie. It's like, oh, he's Captain America, and that's pretty much all you really need to know. But like, I don't know. Like, there's no way because White Vision was in he was in Scarlet Witch show, WandaVision, and then wasn't he referenced in Agatha as well? So it's just like,
yeah.
What are we doing here?
We're doing a story arc, Evan.
Like, there's no way. I just know. Especially with Vision Quest happen. Vision Quest is going to be the one to answer where did Vision go after WandaVision. But like, there's no way that like the movie pops up. It's like, oh, Star-Lord is playing around with Vision. No, that's going to be handled in a different TV series. This scene's going to happen. Instead of Vision, it's going to be like his dad or something. That'd be more special. That'd be more cool. Because isn't his dad alive? Isn't that who he saw at the end of Guardians 3? His dad?
His grandfather, who's like 90.
Grandfather. There we go. So if we can see his grandfather, that would make more sense to me. There's no chance this is happening. Zero chance this is happening.
There's
like, why?
Why not?
What Vision looking for, reasoning for living? He finds Chris Pratt. What?
They could be because they could be doing it. They could be doing an adaptation of Vision's story of like building the whole Vision family.
You're right. They will do that in the show called Vision Quest.
Sure, yeah. I don't know. The Guardians pop up everywhere, man. They popped up in a Thor movie. They popped up in.
They did
different spaces. Yeah, they're in Love and
Thunder.
Thunder.
Never a TV series.
Okay, but if you can't harp on that because if you're gonna harp on that, then just we're gonna be watching shit and like, who is this Kate Bishop? Who is Miss Marvel?
That's different.
No, it's not.
That's different.
Sit your ass down. Moving on. There's concept art for a female Ultron, which, if I were to guess, is probably going to be an evolution of Vision creating a family. And
the more I think about it, sorry, go on.
And I think whatever, because part of the internal programming from Vision, and the basis of his build was from Ultron originally. So this could definitely be like a crosswire gone wrong situation.
Yeah, the more I think about it, I think a lot of this is mixed between Doomsday leaks and like Vision Quest leaks.
There's definitely multiple.
The last thing I think, these two things, like I don't see this at all being in Doomsday. I can see both of these being in the Vision Quest series, minus Chris Pratt.
Yeah.
But like I can see both of these being in Vision Quest. Like not Doomsday. There's again no chance.
No, I don't think so.
Because isn't there some Iron Man concept art in here too? The scrapped TV series.
There was. I didn't collect that one. I forgot about that one. But yeah, there's also
there was a scrapped Iron Man animated show that they were going to do.
Yeah. I mean, there's Brave New World concept art too for the Serpent Society. As well.
I saw that too. They were like, "Where was this sauce in the movie?"
Anyway, but yeah, I feel like this could be interesting to explore. We'll see how that rolls. I also had. Yeah, go ahead.
Sorry to interrupt. Am I crazy? Was James Spader confirmed for Vision Quest? Am I going crazy, guys?
I don't know.
Did that not happen?
You say it, and now I kind of feel like I remember that, but I don't know.
James Spader, Vision Quest. Let me see if that actually happened. James Spader returning as Ultron for Marvel's Vision series. Yeah.
All right. Cool.
That was August 23rd, 2024. So, yeah, I can see James probably not voicing a woman, but I can see Ultron being a key figure in the Vision Quest series.
Yeah, totally. I would very much like to see that. I had also read, and grain of salt, but I heard a tale of rumor that this concept art may have been more so for Secret Wars and not Doomsday, more so.
I think there's a mix. There's definitely a mix between Doomsday and Secret Wars here. Yeah,
it totally could be. Moving into the next thing, though, our first look, Evan.
Oh man, I think I'm turning around. I think they're gonna kill it as Doomsday. No, but it does look cool. Very cool concept art. It's hard to have faith that they're gonna nail this costume as like one-to-one as this seems to be. There is a lot of metal here. I think my main complaint is that like how much is he going to be with the mask? How much is he going to be like just sticking with Doomsday? There's no chance he's going to be full on mask all the time because like the appeal of RDJ as Doom is that like you're getting Iron Man as Doom, so they're going to want to have to they're going to want to advertise that. But I hope it's like 70-30 at best. At least.
I don't think it's going to be like a HUD display situation.
That would be gross.
It literally can't because no other hero does that.
I would barf.
To that point, he probably won't be disfigured either. If I were to guess, maybe you could have some scarring. So RDJ was like some scarring on the face. That would be interesting.
Yeah.
But yeah, this looks cool. I like it. There's also this bit here, which is quite intriguing.
This is quite intriguing. This is a lot to dive in here with this one.
So, just to break down, this is a court, like a medieval courtroom. I believe this was said to be Sue and Franklin Richards.
By the looks of it, yeah.
This we got Doom here, with Iron Man inspiration again, early concept art. Strange here is kind of like a herald type, I believe. He was subservient to the Emperor Doom here. And over here we have Reed in chains as being held by what appears to be Yelena.
Yeah, you think that's Reed? I couldn't even tell.
Yeah, I think it's Reed. I think the general like shape of the hair and the face.
He's a white guy.
He's in shadow.
And yeah, like in a 1602 kind of vibe here, right?
A little bit, yeah. Whatever the accompanying battle world that we'll get via Secret Wars, because that was a different lay of the land here, which was intriguing.
Yeah, this is giving, what we glimpsed in the 2015 hit series, Avengers Time Runs Out, the lead up to Avengers Secret Wars, where they introduced a lot of this battle world implications, where there's multiple realms within these worlds. And the characters that we know and love, you're Doctor Strange, you're Sue Storm, you're Franklin, you're Reed, you're Yelena. Yeah. They're in these worlds having no recollection of what came before, besides Doom, who is, God Emperor Doom. He's even wearing the white cape, similar to what we see in the 2015 run there from the great Jonathan Hickman. So this is very interesting. Again, the whole period piece part is very interesting. This could be Secret Wars more so than Doomsday, as Nathan was alluding to.
Sure. That said,
the whole battle world this whole battle world area with like different worlds, time periods, costumes, it screams Secret Wars. I don't know if they're gonna do all that dimensional time traveling stuff in Doomsday, but I could be wrong. They could easily do this in Doomsday. I don't know. Because again, there's not a lot to like develop. When we see the movie, it's just boom. There's Doomsday, unfortunately for us. But like that's just it. There's no like prologue or whatever. Maybe a prologue for like establishing Doomsday's threat, but like they could easily jumpstart this into like crazy multiversal chaos.
And I am happy that this scene does have a focus of a conflict between Victor and Reed here.
Seemingly, yeah. That's the big thing. It's like how much of the Victor and Reed dynamic are we going to get in these two movies?
I think it'll be fairly prevalent. Like I think it will be to like a Tony to Thanos conflict situation. I think Reed's going to be like the mind that will be the most brilliant mind they have on their side to find their way through to some type of victory to restore what they lost.
I'm still worried about the whole Peter Parker of it all. I feel like that's gonna be the big emotional hook. Like, how much is that? How much is the Peter Iron Man dynamic gonna interfere with the Victor?
There's a thing, Evan. There's a thing. If we're being reset into this battle world situation, you know, potentially after Doomsday, and we're getting Spider-Man 4 in between that, I don't think Spider-Man 4 is going to be a medieval movie.
Well, no, but I think this is just one instant. Like they could be at this medieval world for like 5 minutes, right?
They definitely could.
Like a 5-minute scene.
They definitely could. That said, every last bit of concept art I have for us is all within this medieval setting, so I will be intrigued to see.
That's true. But it could be as big as like the what was it called? The 808 Universe and Multiverse of Madness that we were in for like a couple minutes. Like,
sure,
it could be as big as that. Like, it was like, oh, we hop into a universe, we stay there for a bit, and then we're gone.
Yeah. Okay.
Just to showcase like how big of a role this is. Like, I don't think we're getting a medieval period movie in this.
No, like, I think it's not like the whole time. No.
No. So yeah, I'm still worried about the whole. Can you go back real quick? I'm still just worried about the whole Doomsday and Peter stuff and how that's going to conflict with Doomsday and Reed stuff. But yeah, go back to Spider-Man. I still think there is a chance for Spider-Man 4 just to be street level. I'm not dismissing it. I'm not dismissing it until I see stuff. Because I'm like, even though it comes out after Doomsday, they can just be like, this movie takes place before Doomsday. Like, what's happening?
But he's in Doomsday.
Yeah. Yeah. But like, maybe Doomsday, like maybe there is some battle world shit that happens in Doomsday, but then like, you know, Peter gets sent to the normal world. I'm just not ruling out that we're gonna get some, because there's no way that Spider-Man 4 is all supernatural, right? Like, we're gonna see what happened post No Way Home.
Could be Spider-Verse.
Ew.
You love those movies.
Animated, yes, I do. Good job, Miles Morales.
Yeah, they can never be done in live action, surely.
No, I don't trust the MCU to do that.
Right.
Well, is that a hot take?
Probably not.
But yeah. So you know, next image. I'm ready now.
Okay. This appears to be from said comics, Greenland, which is a land of Hulks on Battle World.
And yeah, like this could be. You think this is the same world as the last image, or different?
I think so. I think so. I think the clothing and architecture kind of meld well in that regard.
Is that other Hulk? Is that the son of Hulk? Chad, whatever his fucking name was.
Scar, yeah.
Scar.
I think so.
Wow, I was wrong. Way off.
And yeah, with Bruce and
he looked
Jennifer.
So bad in She-Hulk. Like
that was a terrible haircut. Yes, this looks a lot better.
So we'll see. He just looks so one note. Like I forgot that even was a character. Like we're really doing this. But then seeing Hulk and She-Hulk in this battle world, that could be interesting. Not much to say, but like, you know, in the what was it? In the Secret Wars, I think they had a bit of an arc, from what I can remember from 10 years ago, against like Doomsday. So, you know, maybe these Hulks can go like, you know, in this battle world scenario, fight against Doomsday. If they get enough people or whatever, if they rebel.
Yeah.
So yeah. So for once, we can see the Hulks as underdogs.
Yeah. This will be interesting. Moving forward a little bit though. Evan, we have a Black Panther.
Yeah, I was watching a video and they said this could be a Damon Idris. That didn't scream Damon Idris to me.
I had seen some comparison photos of him and this concept art, and it looked pretty close. from
It
what
looked
I was
pretty
seeing.
close. Yeah.
Again, this is mocked up concept art, but it is a very detailed concept art. So
Yeah.
it's interesting. There's an alternate universe Black Panther. This could also end up being an aged up version of T'Challa II that we met in Wakanda Forever, which I wouldn't mind.
1000%. That's the first. That was my chance. You think alternate universe? I'm leaning towards like
Future, maybe.
it's hard, right? Because like
Because this also looks like it is a Black Panther suit, but also kind of in that medieval garb aesthetic.
It'll be both. Well, I wouldn't say. I think that's like a royal garb for me. I don't see medieval. It just looks like straight out of like T'Challa's grandfather, right? Like that kind of like royal garb that we saw in the What If in the first Black Panther. But like it would have to be a mix between alternate universe and future, because it's like, oh, he's from a future universe. Well, that's then automatically an alternate universe. Like so I'm still of the belief that like by the end of Secret Wars, this future version of T'Challa, which comes from an alternate universe where he's already grown up, it becomes our normal T'Challa. I think Damon Idris would be a great replacement.
Sure.
He is like British / Nigerian. So that'd be good. And he's really good in Snowfall season 1, at least that I watched him in. On FX. But yeah, so we've all believed as soon as we saw like, oh, Black Panther 2, his name is T'Challa. By the time we get to Secret Wars, there's gonna have to be a Black Panther. There's gonna have to be a aged up version, because as much as we do like Shuri, we need our Black Panther back. We need T'Challa back specifically. So it is smart that they call him T'Challa Jr. or T'Challa II, whatever. So people can just easily say T'Challa is back. They're not replacing him. This is just his son. And yeah, I don't know how it's going to work out, but either way, by the end of Secret Wars, this will probably be your Black Panther. It's interesting seeing him all grown up. I don't know how it comes to pass. This could just be, again, alternate universe or something. So curious.
Yeah.
I'm just curious.
It is a striking image, bittersweet, any casting moving on from Chadwick. However, I do believe this actor will do a phenomenal job.
Yeah, whoever they get for the role. Because again, this is concept art. They're probably like, just look up this Damon Idris guy, whether he gets a role or not. Like, it could be anybody in the world. So we're not saying Damon Idris is confirmed as Black Panther. That's not the case at all.
But if they are moving, they probably would have him cast by now, heading into production for Avengers.
Great point. Like, I don't think this Black Panther will be in Doomsday though. This seems like a Secret Wars thing.
It very well might be, but even like thinking back to like the Phase 3 announcement announcing Chadwick before Civil War's release.
Yeah,
pretty like equal time frame.
So if we were to get an announcement about Black Panther's new actor, it'll be between now and May and June at the latest. So
yeah,
interesting times.
And now if they decide to announce, even though this concept art leak, they may also still want to save the surprise, right? Because I don't think you're just.
There's no way you can surprise actors in the Marvel movie anymore.
I'm sure, but even so, I commend the artistic choice to still attempt.
That's true. Yeah. So I think if Avengers filming starts in like May or something, we would have to get a casting announcement between like April, May, June, whatever. Or if they're able to, they could save the reveal until July's Comic-Con, where they're like, here's our new Black Panther. Maybe not. Because like, I can't tell, because now you're thinking like, now you have me thinking if they want to make this a surprise. Like, if they want to make the new Black Panther in the movie, alternate universe, future, time travel, whatever, or not, like, do they want to make that a surprise? Even though it's going to be, one of the trades is going to break it either way.
Yeah, I mean, Greg, yeah, that's always a guarantee, but I don't think you're getting any official confirmation until the movie's actual premiere. Because I can even see this being like Doomsday ending, everyone's displaced into these different realms, and we see where everyone's at, and then there's an unveilment of there's a Black Panther. Oh my God, we'll catch him next time. next year.
Catch him next time on Avengers Secret Wars. So yeah, what's next?
And then last one image I have here, Evan, I'm very happy about. Young Avengers.
This part is interesting to me. And then again, Chris Pratt is just here.
He's not just here, goddammit.
Yes, he is.
He is a fucking veteran of the whole fucking universe.
Yeah, but he has no like connection to any of these characters.
Neither does Wong, really, unless America Chavez is here.
You're right. She's not here. So this is just interesting concept art. I don't think the Young Avengers have anything to do with the Avengers movies, but this could have something to do with like a Young Avengers movie, a Young Avengers TV show. I don't know.
I think this is Secret Wars adjacent because both Wong and Kamala seem to be wearing some type of cape mint. With it, and like just the initial like lighting of this bar is very just not present day, you know.
Maybe. I mean, this looks like you can just hold this in some kind of bar in some kind of Middle Eastern city.
Maybe, but I also can very much see this being like, here is a core group we have that was not affected by any displacement by Doom, and they're going to be like leading the spirit, because you have to have somebody in the know of like, hey, we're not in our right time, we need to get everyone together and fix this. And I think having the Young Avengers as the underdogs to do so would be a good move.
I just don't think so. For some reason,
you're wrong. That's fine.
I would love to make this a year-long bet, and I would love to be wrong. I want Kate and I want Kamala to be in the movies, but for me, it's like, okay, first of all, strictly on concept art alone, Chris Pratt won't be in here. They have Tommy here, Tommy who wasn't even cast in Agatha all along yet. It's like, we're not going to jump to an Avengers movie and boom, Tommy's here. That's not happening. That's not happening.
Well, no, I think Tommy's probably going to be in Vision Quest.
Exactly.
Which I think is before Doomsday. No, I think it was coming out before.
You think so?
I think so. I think it's set to be around like February-ish. I think they're aiming for release next year, which will be before Doomsday.
But even if it's before Doomsday or whatever, I don't know. I just don't see this amalgamation of characters happening in a movie like Secret Wars, where it's primarily going to be about the adult characters. I just don't feel like this is going to be a thing in Secret Wars, Doomsday, or whatever. This seems like a separate project altogether. Maybe. I mean, I guess, like, you know, playing with your side a little bit, we saw Kamala trying to get this group together with her and Hawkeye in the end of the Marvels, but like, I fear that because the Marvels flopped, they changed plans or whatever. So I'm not really confident in Marvel's direction with the Young Avengers right now.
I don't think that has anything to do with.
Well, they changed a lot of things.
That wasn't like a plot thread within the main narrative. That was a post-credit scene, which they could easily just be like, "All right, yeah, we're doing this."
That's true. That's true. Very much true.
I also do feel like, yeah, Star-Lord could absolutely be here in a more mature experience setting. You know, yeah, he's the fun guy. When he actually needs to step up and be serious, he can. And, you know, alongside with Wong, I think that could be a fun dynamic.
I just wouldn't. If I want Young Avengers, I don't want Young Avengers and two grown-ups. Why would I want that? Like, if I want
it's not going to be like they're stealing the thunder. I think it's going to be like, you know,
you bring Chris Pratt in with all these lesser people. His time isn't lesser, but I'm just like, come on, Nathan. Like, you bring in, it'll seem like it's Chris Pratt with the Young Avengers. That's distracting from the Young Avengers.
I don't think so.
I completely think so. I think that's
if there's any instance of crossover that we've had thus far in this universe, were you distracted from anybody else, or were you just like, hey, you have this person and this person?
No, because they were all like the same age group. These are young Avengers.
Spider-Man's not the same age as anybody else.
But he's Spider-Man. It made sense. He's with the
Okay.
Avengers. Spider-Man's always with the Avengers. Like these people aren't with the Avengers.
Like
They
you're
aren't
just
with
projecting preference.
I'm not. I'm just like I want to see Young Avengers. I don't want to see Young Avengers and two, established characters already. Like, I don't want to see two like other characters like chaperones.
Sure, but like as a kickoff, like this is very commonplace to have some type of a mentorship before the team rolls out on their own.
Is it?
Yeah, I mean, I think like a good example, they had there was an animated movie called Next Avengers, Heroes of Tomorrow, and there was involvement with Tony and Bruce, who were older by this point, but they still had some level of involvement of setting the team on their way. I have to deep dive into comic lore, but yeah, this stuff happens.
Okay.
It doesn't mean like they're also a part of the Young Avengers team.
No. I'm just saying, like, if they were in a movie, if this was in the movie, I'd just be like, man, I wish it was just Young Avengers, because I want to see how Kamala is as a leader, basically.
Sure.
But again, it's like, man, how crowded is this movie going to be to do all the Young Avengers on top of like if this is Secret Wars, which we think they're bringing back like some Fox and Sony characters in this shit, like Hugh Jackman, all three Peters, maybe. It's like you want to do all 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 Young Avengers that we see here, including Tommy, if he's going to be in it. And then Chavez could be in it as well to make it 6. It's like, man, that'll be a lot. For me, I don't know if I want them to be a Secret Wars again, because it's just like I want to see them like living, breathing, chilling before the craziness of like Battle World and Doom and End of World of shit.
Yeah.
I don't know, like, because we only saw her talk to Hawkeye, Kate.
Yeah,
we haven't seen her established. Like, do you expect the movie to jump in like, boom, they're already a team? Are we doing that? Do we have room?
No, I don't think it's a matter of like their team, but I think it could be a matter of how every Avengers movie goes. Like, hey, something's happening. Let me go check it out. Hey, and let me also go check it out from my separate points. And then there's just like a happenstance of
that would make complete sense.
Yeah,
in a movie focused on the Young Avengers, like in a movie focused on
it happens
like,
in every Avengers movie.
But and again, because they were the main characters, Captain America's the main character. Like, I don't see these people being main characters. Main characters enough to establish uniting them, establishing them as a team, handling a problem, moving on from that problem. Like, do we have time to do all of that for the Young Avengers?
I think we do.
Secret Wars? Okay.
I think we do. I know you may feel it doesn't, but they've already done this with Infinity War and Endgame. They've already done this. Because that had so much.
That was characters we already knew. Boom, he's the alien problem.
Yeah,
Panther, we already knew. We already knew all these characters coming together. They already knew each other. So it's not
some didn't, but some did not.
I guess so. It was the first time going to Wakanda. But it was just like, boom,
yeah,
boom.
Thor and the Guardians didn't know each other. That was a whole dynamic.
Yeah.
But
again, those were main, like, Thor and Guardians had they were the B subplot of the movie.
Mm-hmm.
They were the B subplot. The Young Avengers aren't going to be the B subplot of Secret Wars. I could be wrong.
There's like 5 groups. Let's be clear. There's like 5 groups in Infinity War before they all come together, or don't come together and get separated even more so.
Yeah.
And
you're right.
And I fully believe we'll be okay here. And a matter, even in regards to the additional nostalgic cameos of individual heroes, I can imagine, like, not an explicit like Deadpool Wolverine situation where it's like, here's the spotlight character. I think it'll be like, hey, here's also a displaced character. There's a face that's familiar to the audience, but then when things get set right and everyone's their normal selves and we're going against Doom, then hey, everyone looks like they did. It's fun, little end battle stuff, little portals situation, but the full narrative of the movie is not going to be the classic heroes from old franchises running the thing. I think it's actually going to be our main heroes that we've been following.
In Doomsday or Secret Wars?
Both. I don't even think like the nostalgic ones are coming until majority of them in Secret Wars. I'm sure we'll get Spidey's early and stuff, but
I think I'm still on the whole idea of like Phase 4, Phase 5 characters are the Doomsday people, and then Secret Wars is all nostalgia bait with like Fox and Sony characters coming in. Deadpool, Hugh Jackman, X-23, Toby, Andrew, those 5 at least.
It could be, and like granted, I was giving the credit of the Young Avengers being scouts to restore everyone's memory, but this could be outside sources of the TVA existing outside, the realm.
You think the Young Avengers would be that pivotal? Just like saving the day?
I think it's not.
Man.
I don't think it's a. Yeah, I don't think it. Well, I think they could be. I don't think it's going to be a matter of like, hey, it's up to you. I think it's just going to be like, there literally is no one else. We have no choice. We have to help. It has to be us.
Again,
but isn't that cool?
I preface all this to say I would love to see Kamala and Kate on screen in particular. I honestly don't care about the rest, but like, I really want to see Kamala and Kate on screen together. They really butchered Catherine Newton's character. I really don't care about her character right now.
Let's fix it. Let's do better. Let's just let Catherine Newton shine like she does in everything else.
Right? Like again, she's amazing in Abigail. By the way, she got cast in Ready or Not 2, which I guess confirms they are not the same universe because she definitely is
right,
not breathing in Abigail. So like I would love to see these characters come together in a show like Miss Marvel, where like the first episode is so like young adult. Like
I could totally see that happening.
I love that. I love that. Like that was my vision for Young Avengers, just for them to get the showrunners who did Miss Marvel to do, like, if you're not going to give us a Miss Marvel 2, at least give us like a Young Avengers series with characters breathing in New York and just being kids.
And I think we will, but like, let me also pause it, Evan.
Please pause it. I like when you pause it.
Yeah. Now, you wanted a Young Avengers series where they all come together, but as we know, when we have a series kick off, usually the start is like the disbandment and building up the relationships before it's like, oh, now we're in full swing by the very end, and now we got to wait 3 years for more of that. Or would you rather just have that set up here, and then when you do get that show, we have the full dynamics and they just get stronger and stronger as the episodes go, but from the jump it's a blast.
That is a very fair argument. I would like that a lot. Where it's like, they get together real quick in Avengers, not that much time because it's it's a big Avengers project, and then they get their own show to really breathe and establish character dynamics. I love what you posited. That would be very fun. Thanks for your posit.
Yeah, it's similar. Like you go into Moon Knight. Well, now we got to like build everything from scratch with Moon Knight, but I'll go into Falcon Winter Soldier. I've had the dynamics built with Sam and Bucky, and it's just even more enriched as we go through.
Yeah. Cool. I don't know, man. I just don't know. But I would love it. I would love it if they were all together. And
that's
Chris Pratt being there is just so funny to me, though.
And he will be funny. That said, I don't know who this character on the far right is. It looks like they have an X-Men logo on the belly.
I watched the video. Apparently, he is some kind of like X-Men character. I can't remember at all what the video told me, but apparently he's like some kind of overpowered X-Men like assistant character with psionic powers, from what I can recall.
Right on.
So this could just be another tease. Like, guys, after this movie, X-Men are joining the MCU, so we're gonna get X-Men creatures, characters, whatever, sprinkled in, building up the X-Men stuff.
Yeah, totally.
Okay, is there more after this?
No, that would do it.
That was it for the important stuff. Again, as I mentioned, there was also like a scrapped Iron Man TV show in there. There was more Sue Storm with Franklin Richards. Franklin had like a Franklin Richards had a Spider-Man like onesie on or whatever.
Yeah,
I remember seeing that. So just more doubling down on Franklin and Sue being very important characters. If you read the Time Runs Out Secret Wars event, Franklin was not a baby; he was a teenager, but like had the ability for like multiversal destruction. He was very pivotal there. I'm curious how Sue and Franklin, how that whole stuff gets handled in Fantastic Four, and how that transitions into Secret Wars / Doomsday. I still think they're going to tease RDJ in Fantastic Four. We already know he's cast. All it takes is one quick, easy post-credit scene. Like, I would bet my whole life RDJ is in some kind of post-credit scene in Fantastic Four. I'll be shocked.
Absolutely.
Because that's it. Like, we go from Fantastic Four straight to Doomsday next year. Like, I don't think there's no February movie, right? It's just May, July, November next year.
Yeah, I think so. I heard a brief rumor that maybe they're considering pushing another year. I don't know.
They need to. Those VFX people, the VFX people are like, please don't let us do a whole 10 months of VFX. That's hard. That's hard.
With how much there's going to be. Holy hell.
2 years in a row, too. Like, hell yeah, we just finished Doomsday, guys. Woo, we can go on break. Feige's like, get back in the studio. We have Secret Wars next year, bitch. It's like, no, I want to go home and see my family.
I want $1 trillion.
Right? And meanwhile, the actors get paid $50 million and the VFX artists get paid $100 an hour.
What's Robert getting? $100 million?
Right? Like, shit.
You didn't need that, Robert. I know you. Yeah. All right. Good for your family.
So again, a great conversation about Young Avengers. I'm very curious about them. It's just they feel so like we thought they were cooking with them when Disney Plus first started, but then kind of deteriorated. But then it skyrocketed when we saw Kamala and Kate. I'm like, oh, they're gonna do something, and then we've seen
they are.
Yet.
Stop it. So, they are.
I'm just saying we haven't seen anything or heard anything yet. So, but again, we haven't had an Avengers movie yet. So maybe now's the time. So I hope Nathan's right. If he is right, I hope Feige cooks. I'm just doubtful, and I don't think Chris Pratt's going to be in that conversation if he is.
I don't understand why you can't.
He just seems so out of the blue for me. I can't. I just really can't. To be honest, I can see more Chris Pratt talking to Young Avengers than I can see Chris Pratt hanging out with a White Vision. That seems
that is silly. That is silly. However, Marvel is not unknown for random ass pairings.
Very true. Howard the Duck got with Darcy, guys. Anyways, find me on Twitter, Harris EV9. Chilling, doing my own thing. We got Andor this week, the prison arc of Andor. We're gonna be commentating that this week. They released an Andor special on Disney Plus, 2 minutes, going over some shots from the trailer and from the TV series coming out next month. This show just looks phenomenal, guys. I cannot wait to talk Andor every single week. We're going to be talking about every batch of episodes every week for 4 weeks in a row, and we'll probably do another retrospective. We can probably do a commentary right after that in the summertime, just rewatching this series again with each other. I'm just
we can watch them live for the first time. I'll do it.
Not happening. So we can just because I gotta watch them at night. I don't know if I can watch 3 episodes in one night. So maybe 2 and then 1 on Wednesday. So we'll see how that goes. So it's gonna be Andor for the rest of the year. I can't wait. Celebration is next month. That's crazy. They announced the panels being Mando and Grogu on Friday, Ahsoka on Saturday, Ahsoka and Andor on Saturday, and then Sunday being Vision Season 3, which I'm like, I need to get into that panel. Vision Season 3 is my shit.
And that specifically is the lottery stuff.
Not lottery. They're calling it panel reservation now.
It's the same thing.
Same thing? Yeah. I was reading an article and I'm like, it's weird. By the way, short aside for that, I brought tickets, on my show clicks, whatever the count, it says 2 Friday, 2 Saturday, 2 Sunday for myself and Jalen. Yeah. And I'm like, I emailed them because I'm like, do I have to panel reservation? Do I have to transfer my tickets to Jalen and we both panel reservations separately? Or do I just panel reserve for myself and I get in for the both of us? I emailed them that and they were like, you and your brother, I forget, they kind of alluded to me just transferring my tickets to Jalen. They said, where's it at? They didn't answer my question. Or one of my, because I emailed them on both my emails here. But like, they were basically just like, oh yeah, thank you for contacting us. If you bought your ticket for your brother, we would recommend like transfer tickets. And they linked me like the transfer ticket website. And I'm like, oh, okay, I guess I would have to transfer. But like, I don't
But
want
that's
me to
going
get
to
into
transfer yours as well.
No, it's gonna transfer like it'll say like amount. So I can do like one to Jalen, one Friday, one Saturday, one Sunday to Jalen. So we can both have like 3 days. But I'm like, I kind of like, there's no way I'm going to see Ahsoka and Jalen just not coming in with me. And I bought the tickets together. Like, we're going to the same place. So like, I don't know. We'll work it out.
Get in line early to those overflows.
Yeah, because I remember one time, like it was either Chicago or LA, where I got in and I said, Jalen, you have to. It was 2019 because I'm like, I got into Mando. Jalen technically didn't, and they were really. I could have just been like, oh, boom, and Jalen's with me. Like I could just +1, and they wouldn't have cared. Because at the end of the day, the thing we have to learn, the thing we learned from last celebration is that like, the Reed Pop people, the people in those lines don't know jack shit. Like, you can do seniority depending on the person. Like, I could just be like, oh, yeah, he's with me. And would you rather hold up this whole line or just be like, okay, cool, you two go on ahead? Because I'm just like, they're volunteers. I don't know if they read like Section A, Lesson B of this Reed Pop rules and regulations. That's what I learned. Like, most time of celebration, just like shove yourself in there and you'll most of the time be fine.
I remember we were at Obi-Wan. We were watching it, the first 2 episodes, and they had the security guys walking up and down the stairs, and this dude was hard staring at the phone on my lap, just sitting on my lap, and I'm like, in my brain, I'm like, dude, the episode's dropping the same time right now. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, it really didn't matter at all. Yeah, again, most people, they're just like, they're volunteers, they're security, they don't know jack shit. They just do what they're like told. And what they're told isn't usually given a lot of discretion.
Yeah.
But yeah, either way, celebrations next week or next month, and it's just, oh my gosh, I'm going to Japan next month. It's crazy.
I'm very excited to get to day 3 to hear where it's going to be next.
Yeah, I know. I'm so nervous. I'm like, please be LA, please be Chicago ideally, or Florida. Nathan for Florida, that'd be great.
Orlando, baby, bring it back. Yeah. It's been 7
years. Orlando, LA, Chicago, one of those, or Cincinnati. We have space, guys, so that'd be great.
Well, that said, you can find me _TimeBlazer, making a show called Time Blazer with co-star and creative consultant Evan Harris.
Plain Ben. No lead concept art here, guys. It'll be by us. Or maybe it didn't. Maybe Marvel did just shut that shit out there to grow hype. We didn't even talk about that.
Crazy. They're not Sony. They don't need to do that.
They don't need to.
No. But yeah. Any concept art you see from me for Time Blazer, I posted myself because I am desperate for attention on this.
God Emperor Nathan. He's in charge of everything.
I mean, we got a God Emperor Asperi for a villain. But that being said, if you enjoyed this, make sure you like button, subscribe now, ring the bell so you miss coverage on all things film and TV. That being said, hope you have a great day. Catch you guys next time.